So, I know you've seen the title of this video already, and you've probably already started jumping to lots of conclusions as to, why this video is being made, and what is he doing, and what's so important about me? Who am I? Like, why is my story important? Like, should I put this on there? Who's gonna watch it? And if they do watch it, then what's the reaction gonna be? And then, like, does it matter? Yes, it matters. But, like, and all of that is actually the reason why I need to make this video today. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood. So, early childhood me, I actually was held back a grade. I was the only person in my class this year that got held back. There was a lot of things that played into that, I also then, I realize this now. I didn't then. I knew something was off, but, you just kind of never really spoke about those things. Like especially in my community. I was acting out a lot and I didn't understand the things that I read, and that was very frustrating to me sometimes. I needed my behavior to be attention and not the fact that I was not excelling in a learning way, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't thought a whole lot about why really that was going on, but I got held back, and it was the most devastating thing in my life because I remember walking home, or not walking home, I was actually walking to where I would stay before my mom would come and pick me up when she got off work, and I opened my report card, and I saw that it said, that I didn't pass, and I panicked. I was trying to think through every possible scenario of what I was gonna tell my family, how I was gonna just live. I remember getting to the place that I was going, and I was I'm young, right? And I am I couldn't breathe. My chest was very heavy. I just remember that being the first time that I was just I'm not okay, but I don't know, I'm just gonna push through, and it was rough. It was really rough for me. I felt really horrible. I felt like I let my whole family down, and I felt like I was letting all of my friends down, or the friends that I thought I had. I thought I was letting them down, and it just turned into a whole, cycle in my teeny tiny little self. All of these things that no one really saw. Everyone just saw, oh, this kid is acting out. And back then, people would blame that on oh, well, he's grown up in a single family home or whatever, but my mom was amazing, is amazing. It wasn't until later that I realized that moment really shaped who I was becoming, because that next year, I got picked on. I was so afraid to go to school. It was not even, it's bananas how afraid I was, but I knew what else am I gonna do, right? What else are you gonna do? You're not gonna do anything. Your mom has to go to work. This is what you do. You go to school. So there's no other choices, right? And you're a child. And I didn't know how to express the type of when that I was feeling inside. And also I never told my mom about any of the, when people were picking on me, or calling me names or whatever. But during this time, I just developed this habit of pretending. I told a lot of lies. I developed a photographic memory, so if I needed to learn something, I wasn't actually learning it. I was just remembering what I've seen and what I read, and to this day that it helps me out a lot. But anyways, how it came about was just not okay. I trained myself to do that so that people wouldn't call me dumb, so that I wouldn't fail again, so that I wouldn't have to be looked at as someone who didn't meet the mark. Or it was just a lot, it was a lot for me growing up. And I just at that time, knowing what I know now, I wish I would have just spoken up and said hey, I need some help. And I think that's part of why I want to make this video, is because I don't want another little TC to have to think that he needs to tough it up and push through so that the world around him can be comfortable, I guess. I became fixated with just wanting to learn everything and to be in every group that I could possibly be in. I wanted to be the leader of those groups. I wanted to be in everything, and that included sports and stuff that I played. I just wanted to be the top of that, I had people that I looked up to that I was you know what? If I can't be like me, I want to be like that person. In my early sports days, there was one incident where I wasn't good at any sports that I played. Let's just put that out there. But it was the first game that I was able to be a part of, and not ride the bench. And of course I was nervous. I was so scared of messing up or doing something foolish. And I go out there and I am playing, and I'm everybody's watching, and I get the ball and I shoot the ball and it goes in, and I am so excited. And I'm doing the whole walking back thing or whatever. And it's I'm looking around, I don't hear anything. You know what I mean? I don't hear anything around but myself just being wow, Tremaine, you did that. Go you. You finally, you proved it. And then I see everyone around me looking and then I hear people going, what is wrong with you? You're so stupid. Why would you do that? And turns out I made it in the wrong basket. So it was for the other team. That was very embarrassing. And I just remember my coach just bringing me back and sitting me down on the bench. And while we all played it off that night, I thought it was horrible. So yeah, anyways, there's lots of things that I could talk about in Lewis High School and middle school and elementary ages. I turned into a mean person. I was a bully because I was getting bullied, and it was just this whole cycle. And then I thought that I needed to do everything to be seen and let people see me. And then I was oh, what if people do see me? And then this and that. And it was just a lot, it was a lot, too much. I can't really say too much about being a Christian in the South. That was probably one of the most, I'm not going to say too much about that. But it says a lot when you are a part of a situation where someone of authority in the church gets kicked out of the church for letting you take your first ever girlfriend out on a date in their car, which, by the way, we have permission to both go on this date, but because we are interracial, it's a thing, and it's frowned upon, and then there's all these other accusations. It's a whole mess. My wife is absolutely amazing. We both, like, our energies are very different, and like, it's been so amazing to see how well, like, we just connect with each other, and she has been there for everything. And it's like the way that my whole mental health journey has, like, affected, like, my family. It's just that, like most of my relationship, my marriage, like, with her has always been just, like, busy with work. And she even did some of that work with me at some point. And, like, I was very high stress, high intense, high, like, up here, like, all the time. And it was never, and she is very, like, patient and kind, and, you know, and I felt horrible about how much my work was consuming me and making me, like, be in certain times. Like, I wanted to make a good name for myself. I wanted to be seen. So there's one day, everything just kind of came, like, really quick, you know? And there's a bunch of stuff that was happening, you know, outside of the home that was really affecting me, people-wise, and I got to a point to where I was tired of giving so much and feeling like I was giving a lot of myself to everything and every situation and everybody, and I never really, like, took care of anything with myself. And, like, I had a moment of just, like, I can't do it anymore. And I, like, thought, I remember I walked through the door and Ashlyn looks at me and she goes, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think so." And, you know, I walk over to the living room, and I remember it was just like that. My chest was heavy. I could barely breathe. It was really scary. It was very, very scary. I had just gotten to a point where do more, be better, keep doing this, and you'll finally do this. Like, I got to a point to where that was just, I'd heard it a lot of times. And it always felt like, and whether or not people, you know, along my path would say, like, oh, you know, it was never, you know, that intention or whatever. That's how it felt very, very much, let me keep you here because this is where you're most comfortable for me. And I was very much like, oh, okay, well, that's easy. And so, like, let me keep, like, making these people happy by doing all these things that make them happy. You know, like, I'm at this stage in my life where I was trying to, like, work and grind and, like, you know, I want to have my first house by now. Like, I want to, like, be just out here, you know, doing my thing. And, like, I've been so focused on, like, everything else, and that just, I was, like, just coming to the realization of just, like, man, what have you been chasing this whole time, Tremaine? Like, what have you been doing? And then it's like, every time I feel like I've gotten to that point of, like, trying to explain that feeling to someone, you know, it was always, just keep going, just keep pushing yourself, just keep, just keep on the path that you're doing and you'll be fine. But anyways, during all of that, I decided to just pull a complete 360, 180, whatever direction you want to call it, in my life, and just everything that I was doing that I felt like I was doing for someone else and not myself, I had to get rid of it. And I knew that was the only way that I was going to make it through. And you know what? You know what the funny thing about all this is? It's not funny actually. Is that there was a person in my life that I thought was put into my life to help me get through a very tough season that I was having. And at first, you know how it is, everything was great, and I remember when I hit my breaking point, and then after, I had to not be present for a while, I went to this person, and I remember just saying yeah, I'm not doing okay, I'm struggling and I'm doing this, that, and the other, and this person tells me two things that really stuck with me during this time. One of them being, I saw that you were struggling, but I was just waiting for you to come to me to ask me for help. That was really shocking to me, because how can you be in a position to do good right in your own backyard and then say, well, I got the power, so you can come to me because I know I know that I can help you, I know that I can whatever, but you gotta come to me. The other thing is, whenever I was deciding to just cut everything loose, I'm not gonna say, exactly what was said, but it was along the lines of, there's nothing else that you can do out in the world. This is all you know. This is all you can do. It's fine if someone sees something in somebody and says, you know what, you're really good at that. But to tell somebody that's all that you're good at, no matter if that thing is good or not, that's just not okay. I was going through it. We lost everything, I didn't have anything, any income for at least a month and a half. And I got behind on everything. I couldn't afford anything, and it was just very, very rough. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was able to accept a new job, one that I love a lot, and I'm already growing in this position, and I'm already seeing a lot of things happening with this job, and it's been amazing. And I have since graduated, which that was a whole thing, because learning disability, I couldn't afford it, but also it took me longer to get through school because I had to get through school, but I did. I graduated, and I got this job that I really like now, and I was able to come out finally with my wife, which is amazing that we are both able to now live our truth that we've always known with each other, and just be happy and whatever, and I am in a much better place now because I've started to really just focus on myself and not the world and everybody else and what everybody else is telling me that I needed to do or who I needed to be. I started to care about who I wanted to be, and I'm in a much better, much healthier place. Mental health is no joke, it took me a long time to realize that I was going through it. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that I realized, because now I have the things that I need to be able to, like, you know, be okay. Like, and I know what I need to do to be able to, like, take care of myself. You know, if I could just say, like, one thing to anybody that is struggling with any type of mental health issues, you know, like, wherever you are, whoever you may be, find you somebody that loves you deep, that cares for you deep, no matter what. Good, bad, ugly, like whatever. Here's a list of things that you can do to make sure that you're taking care of yourself as well. To my family and to some of my friends out there that is probably seeing this video and you are like, wow, I had no idea. And I know my family, you're always like, oh, why'd you put this on social media? And this is how I express myself. And I hope that you're okay with that. And if you're not, I'm sorry, but this is how I do it. So I love you. And to anybody that's out there watching, even if it's just one person that's out there watching, you matter. Mental health matters. Your story matters.